Alright, what's going on, guys? Today's video we have the Dreo Pilot Max that we're going to go ahead and unbox review. So the packaging overall is really good, very well protected. It does have 5 years of warranty, has a lot of stuff included. The power supply is very minimal, so you do and can unplug it from the actual source and you'll be good to go. Now this is the device itself. This is what it looks like fully assembled. It is very, very elegant looking, very modern, very sleek, very nice looking. It comes with a remote. This is the remote. So it has basic functions. You have a rubber on the front here and the rest of it is made out of a plastic or a polycarbonate. To be able to take out the battery, you have to actually have like a push pin or something like that, push out the battery so it's safe enough so you can not have it easily taken out or whatever. I really like the locking mechanism on this. The remote itself feels really good. It's very small and minimal. It has branding on the front. It says Dreo. You have up and down for fan speeds, you have modes here, you have a mute button for the actual device so it doesn't make any noise whenever you press anything. You have an oscillating button so you can turn it on and off, and you have a timer button which has 1 hour increments all the way up to 12 hours. So that's the remote here. It looks really nice. Takes a CR 2025 battery, very it's gonna last a long time. However, it is an infrared, so that means you have to point directly at the front. You can't point it to the side, you can't point it to the back, you can't do anything else like that. So as you can see, we have 0.78 kilowatts per day technically, and we used it for 2 days. That's how much we used over 2 days. And then this is the voltage, this is the amp, but it's at the minimum. This is the lowest, so when idle it's about 0.6 watts all the way up to 32.7 watts. So it doesn't draw a whole lot of power, which is really nice. And this is the cost. I don't have it set up right now. Right now it's drawing 5 watts of power at the first setting. So keep that in mind. The first setting, it draws about 5.5 watts. And the highest setting here, let's just let it climb and you can hear it for yourself. It gets pretty loud. We're gonna go ahead and test out the sound right now as well. It gets really quiet to the point where I can't measure the quietness, but it's super, super quiet and I love that. So right now it's drawing around 30 watts, we'll say that. I know it does climb up a bit after, but 25, 27 doesn't draw a whole lot of power. It's literally not that much power, so very good for energy saving. And once again, this power supply, it's not like most of the power supplies out there. So number one, it's branded right here, and the power supply itself is removable from the base. So you have a little input right here. Just take it out. So it's really nice compared to other tower fans out there, since other tower fans have like directly current up there and then you can't really replace it or anything else like that. You'd have to hire like an electrician or something if it goes bad or whatever. This one you can basically make it to your own. It's just a standard class 2 power supply. This one is Euro certified. It is 120 volt. It has a 24 volt output and a 1.5 amp output. So it's not a very beefy power supply. Now on the actual device itself, you do have multiple instructions here. So you have the support sensor and the wattage. So it says 36 watts, which seems to be true. So that's good that everything so far is true on the specs sheet. It is very, very quiet to the point where obviously I can't measure the quietness. We'll attempt it right here, but we're gonna see. Let me just turn everything off. Now the height on this is about 42 inches. So you have a 42-inch reach, which is really nice. The actual fan itself, you can probably see it right there. Most of it is kind of a fake chassis, pretty much like all tower fans, but it does have a really good reach and it's higher than most. So you're actually hitting your face or whatever when you're sitting down, laying down, whatever else like that, which is nice. Now it says the noise level is between 25 to 48 decibels. So let's check that. This one doesn't go all the way up to 25 decibels. It only goes up to 30 all the way up to 130. So we're gonna go and test that right now. So once again, I can't really measure this. It says 40, but you can hear for yourself. It's mad quiet. So all the modes here are very quiet. We're gonna go do a little sound test here. We're roughly sitting around 2 to 3 feet away from the actual device here. So we're gonna see, right now it's on the 2nd speed, 3rd speed, 4th, 5th, 7. I'm gonna get closer up to it because if you hear the wind through the microphone, it's gonna sound loud. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And this thing is a powerhouse. So for consuming a little bit of power, but being able to put out so much wind speed and everything else like that is mind-blowing in my opinion. So once again, we're drawing about 30 watts, which is true. We're gonna go to measure how much sound it's measuring. So not fully accurate, but somewhere around 50 decibels. Now this does have customizable rotation So you can have 30, 60, 90, and 120 rotation or oscillation, whatever you want to call it, which is really cool. So as you can see, you have lots of turning speed and everything else like that. So if you want to be quicker, you can turn it to 30 and cover a small area, or if you want a gradual area and cover like a big living room or something like that, you could change it to 120 degrees and cover a lot more area. By default, it is on 120. If you would like to change it, you have to get the app. Now there is a few issues with the app, and I'm going to go and explain it with you right now. So the app name is Dreo, very simple. You connect it basically with the plus here, and then you just go ahead and it'll auto detect it. Once you press the oscillation button, for about 5 seconds, it'll turn on the Wi-Fi indicator on the device itself. It'll start to blink. Then once you do that, it'll be able to be connected. You go into the Dreo, you can go to tower fans, and then you can do your model specific, or it'll just automatically pop up. It auto popped up for me once I pressed the plus. You can go ahead and connect it here. It's disconnected just because basically when you're in the app, you can do things like turning the 30, 60, 90, 120 degree oscillation, right? Timer or anything else like that. You can see how much time is left on the actual timer itself. Left on there, you can actually, you need this app in order to connect it to your Amazon or Google Assistant. So, and once you do that, you can set up a schedule, which sucks because the app doesn't have a schedule. So you have to download the Dreo app in order to use a scheduling timer or whatever like that, which kind of sucks because if you want to basically schedule this to always turn on at a certain time or turn off at a certain time, that's the only way to do it. It does have an auto shut off at 12 hours. So if it's constantly running for 12 hours, you leave the house, you forget to turn it off. After 12 hours, it'll auto shut off so it doesn't waste power, and that it's not always on, depending on the climate. It's very quiet, very, very, very powerful. So it'll definitely reach a very big room. It's actually helped my room a lot. My room always gets hot, minimum of 88 degrees. Right now it's 83. Even with all these lights on and it's not really on, it's at 83 degrees right now. So it's still a lot less than what it's usually at, and it's not even doing any work right now. But usually when it is, I'm under 80. So it's definitely a 10-degree difference, which is huge for me since my room is always hot, since my vent is broken basically. Now in the app also, I wish, number one, there was those timers. I wish there was more customization so you can actually like check how much power it's using. You can actually see the temperature in the app, which is pretty cool because this has an ambient device on the top of the display here. So if you actually put like an ice pack or something, it'll auto adjust to the temperature of the room and put in more power or less power depending on the room if you have it set on to auto. Now you do have 4 modes in the device itself. So right here on the remote, if you press the little 3 lines, you can access all the modes there. So you have an eco, a night one, an auto, and a direct current. So basically, if you have it on direct current right there, you have one constant speed. It won't change. It won't do anything else like that with the propellers. On the display, you have stuff like the Wi-Fi, the noise, the timer, the modes, and everything else like that. It's fairly simple. Obviously, the blinking on the Wi-Fi right now is because the Wi-Fi is down. But if you were to actually have the, the timer, that's how it sounds when it's beeping. It's very loud and annoying. So it's good that you actually can turn that off. Unlike another fan that I have, and I'll do a comparison of other fans in a future video. But for now, that's really amazing to have because if you can't turn it off, it's just going to be constantly beeping and it's super, super annoying in my opinion. Don't like that. So I like that it has this on the remote and everything else like that. The remote is way more helpful than you think. You have 3 ways of methods of controlling the device itself. The buttons on the top, which are touch sensitive, as you can see. The only button that you don't have on the top is the little mute button. That's the only thing, but everything else you do have on the top of the device. It also has an auto ambient display, which auto adjusts to the light in the room. So if it's a very bright room, it'll stay lit. If it's a dim, dark room, it'll auto adjust. If you have it on a sleep mode, it'll basically turn everything off quiet. It'll turn the display off at night. It'll basically auto adjust, so it's going to be a really good soothing experience, which is nice. And it has a certain type of breeze, so it'll basically rotate the fans from left to right, left to right, left to right. It won't be direct current fully blowing out one direction. So it's really cool on that. And then also, now a really cool thing about this is that you can actually easily change the filter, clean it, do anything else you need to do on the back with the single Phillips head screw. Lift it up and then pop it off, and that's it. And there you go. You have access to the blades now, which obviously they're all made of plastic. You can easily use a duster or anything else like that to clean the fan so you're breathing constant good air, which is nice. And you can also wipe down this area here as well if you need to. or if you need to do any repairs, there's screws on the bottom as well. All right, some issues with some fans is that they wobble a lot, and that's not a very good, not a good thing to have with the tower fan, because if it wobbles, it makes noise. It's just not very professional. So you want to have very good stable wind speed. This has a really big base, meaning it's very stable, very, very well built. Made it all plastic, but it still gets the job done. It's really, really helpful. Now we're gonna go and test out the wind speed. So we're gonna go and check how powerful this thing is, and we're gonna showcase it off right now. All right, so I'm gonna do a little quick distance test. So we're gonna have our remote here for infrared. It does reach, as you can see. Oh, can it? There we go, it does reach. So we're roughly around, I'd say 20 to 30 feet. I'm gonna go and measure this here. All right, that's 12 feet right here. That's 24 feet. All right, so we're roughly 25 feet away. Technically, this should 100% reach all the way out to the camera, so we should get a reach from this reading here. So we do have a little anemometer here. We're gonna go ahead and show you if it actually will pick up the wind speed from here. So straight off from the first setting here, 5.5 miles an hour, probably 5.3 on average. And it should cut off slowly. Looks like we're cutting off right around, so it still reaches way over here. Probably stops right around the 12 mark. Yeah, it stops at around 12 feet on the first setting, so that's very impressive. We're gonna go to 6 now, and up close, we're right around 8, 7.9 on average, 8 on average, and this should go definitely further than 12 feet. Oh, stopped right here. So roughly, I'd say 14 to 16 feet, and it's on the direct current right there. So now let's go all the way to 12 here. And the fan speed, it's going really, you can hear it. It's going all the way up to 13 on average, 13 miles per hour, up close. And that should reach all the way to 25 feet, is what the spec says. Still reaching. And it's still reaching. Stay still. It's still reaching right around the 25-foot mark. So the max speed is 13.9 miles per hour. Very, very good on that. And it feels really good. You can feel it from here. Yeah, you can hear it just a little bit. It's fairly quiet. I do like the sudden hiss to it. You should definitely pick one of these up for summertime. Be prepared for next summer, since global warming and everything else like that's just gonna keep getting worse and worse. It's gonna keep getting hotter and hotter each year, depending on which area you live in. It's just getting hotter and hotter. For instance, it's been like 100 degrees where I'm at pretty much every single day for weeks, and it's just really bad.